Thanks for coming today. This is National Adoption Month, and we're in the nick of time here as we're celebrating National Adoption Month, and it's drawing to a close today. But we are here to share an update of our continuing efforts to improve the foster care system and the adoption process in Ohio. Moments after Governor DeWine and I were sworn into office, he signed an executive order prioritizing success and opportunities for all of Ohio's children and created our Children's Initiative to lead our efforts to elevate and drive improvement within the state's programs that serve children, including foster care. Governor DeWine and I also created Innovate Ohio, which was designed to use technology to improve the way we serve our customers, the people of the state of Ohio. Today, alongside our partners at the Governor's Children's Initiative, Innovate Ohio, the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, Wendy's Wonderful Kids, 30 Days to Families, and CASA, of which both my Chief of Staff, Josh Eck, and Mrs. Husted are board members, we want to make good on that promise of announcing two new innovative tools from Connect Our Kids that aim to connect more than 3,000 Ohio children awaiting adoption and connecting them to those forever families using these new technology tools. Let me start by saying Ohio is the first state to implement these two new technology tools. First, we have the Family Connections tool that helps child welfare professionals easily discover almost anyone important to that child's life. This could be an aunt, a cousin, a grandparent, or a close family contact. How does it work? The Family Connections tool is a genogram, or a digital diagram that illustrates a person's family members that a children's services caseworker would have access to. It includes comprehensive reporting with features such as contact information with current and past addresses and phone numbers, and all known associated relatives and neighbors. Professionals can use the desktop version to build trees, discover contact information, and engage family and supporters of children in foster care. They can use the mobile app to access all the data in that field. Next, let me talk about the People Search tool. This program, specifically for social workers, family recruiters, and CASA volunteers, allows them to log into the system to find contact information for extended families and supporters of foster kids to exponentially expand the pool of potential kinship caregivers, far beyond just those in the contact information under the child's parents. This search uses public information from over 300 sources which cover over 3 billion people. It even helps quickly fulfill the requirement to identify and notify extended family members of a child's removal from a home. Why is this important? I think it's just the practical reality of looking at how this is handled now. We've heard throughout this process from child welfare professionals that have had to do the mapping themselves, which may include putting sticky notes on bulletin boards or in files or writing in the margins. Now they don't have to search through a variety of different places, in many cases when they don't have the time or the resources to do so. They now have it in one location. This system gives them and every other professional the mapping and contact information that's going to save them time and resources. I'm very, very, very happy to be here today. I want to thank all who work so hard to make this possible. This is really going to be a great set of new tools for our children's services professionals. And while I mention children's services professionals, I would encourage any public official to spend a day with them. To see what they do, what they go through, and the challenging jobs that they all have. I want to just do a little history lesson here within our administration. Unfortunately, for years, the foster care system has been overwhelmed due largely to the opioid epidemic. And the neglect and abuse cases have been all too common and grown over that time period. We had to examine the system and act. It's one of the things that Governor DeWine and I talked about early on. To take stock of Ohio's foster care system, we first needed more information. So in 2019, the governor signed an executive order forming the Children's Services Transformation Advisory Council to review and make recommendations. I remember this. I remember the day that we were there. 1 year ago, we formed that council, and a year ago, the council, which is made up of subject matter experts and individuals with lived experiences in the foster care system, provided the results of the top-down appraisal of Ohio's Children's Services System and a fact-finding series of foster care forums. At these forums, the council heard from about 500 Ohioans on their experiences in the system. Afterward, the council provided 37 recommendations in 7 core areas to improve the experiences of children and families. To date, 31 of those 37 recommendations have been addressed, and the goal is to have all of them implemented by 2023. As of today, there are 3,175 children awaiting adoption in Ohio, and we owe it to them to work as hard as we can to get each and every one of them a permanent and loving family. And that's why this is important. It's using technology tools that our tech team helped work with the advocates to give them tools that will help them make connections that they never had before, they couldn't make, or took too much time to gain access to. Now with that, let me introduce Director Matt Damschroeder from ODJFS. The director has been a champion and a personal witness to the foster care system, as he and his wife Carrie have been are now a forever family to Etta and Lance. Director?
Thank you and good morning. Before I begin, I want to take a moment to introduce some of the folks who are on the stage with us this morning, as well as some others who are in the audience. From Connect Our Kids, Jennifer Jacobs, Jelani Freeman, and Jessica Stern. From CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates, Doug Stevens. From the Dave Thomas Foundation and Wendy's Wonderful Kids, we have Angela McElharney, Mary Ellen Smalley, and McCall Arneal. And then we also have the Green family, Oliver and Carla, who you'll hear from in a little bit, and their children, Keandre, Key Marquez, and Tay. And then also we have Shannon Deinhardt from Connect, and Christy Burry, the Governor's Director for Children's Services Transformation. As the Lieutenant Governor shared, Connect Our Kids can be a game-changing tool. And the story of how it came about is truly an inspiring one. And so to get into the details on that, it's my pleasure to introduce the co-founder, Jen Jacobs and Jelani Freeman, and advisors of the organization, to share a little bit more about Connect Our Kids.
Hello, my name is Jelani Freeman. I am a Connect Our Kids advisor. I'm a lawyer and CASA volunteer, and I have lived experience in the foster care system. I was pulled into the foster care system at the age of 8. 10 years later, at the age of 18, I aged out of the foster care system without any connection to my extended family. I was turned out on my own alone. I was fortunate that I met a mentor in high school, which led to my success today. Most kids are not so fortunate. In fact, about 20,000 kids age out of the foster care system each year in America, and only about 3% attend college. The deck is stacked against them. A few years ago, I got a call from Jessica Stern, co-founder of Connect Our Kids. Jessica shared her own experience living with a foster family in St. Mary's, Ohio as a child. She introduced me to her co-founder, Dr. Jennifer Jacobs, a West Point grad, nuclear scientist, and national security expert and former White House fellow. Jennifer has spent her entire career protecting our nation. When she read how children's services were building out family trees to find families for foster children, Jennifer immediately realized that the same kind of technology could speed up the family search process for all 407,000 foster kids in America. As a court-appointed special advocate, CASA volunteer, I knew child services across the country were using outdated technology or not using any technology at all to find families for kids. When a child goes into the system, they lose connection to everyone. They can literally become lost in the files of the bureaucracy. It's a very traumatic experience. When I aged out of the foster care system, I spent 10 years searching for my family. With all the technology in the world, that dislocation should never occur. When I first met Jennifer and Jessica, the two leaders shared their vision, and I shared my knowledge of the foster care system, and the rest is now history. They built their technology platform and brought innovation to child welfare. And because Jessica was born and raised in Auglaize County, they knew Ohio would be the best place in the nation to launch their tech platform because of its forward-leaning leaders. They also knew that Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Husted were leading in innovation and equally committed to and changing the foster care experience for Ohio's most vulnerable children. It's my sincere honor to introduce Connect Our Kids CEO and co-founder, Dr. Jennifer Jacobs.
Thank you, Jelani. And thank you to my co-founder, Jessica, for everything that has gotten us to this day. The problem we face is one that we can solve with open minds and strong leadership. Nationally, of the over 400,000 children who are in foster care, 20,000 of those will age out each year without having found a permanent home. Right here in Ohio, 16,000 children are in foster care. That's a problem for all of us, because when a kid ages out of foster care, they often don't have mentors or family to help them. They are truly alone. That can have devastating outcomes, both for the young adults themselves as well as for their communities, and it has a significant impact on our economy. Fortunately, there are solutions. In my previous role, countering nuclear terrorism, I've seen firsthand how we use innovative, connections-building technology to help protect our nation. The same concept can be used to help find families for children in foster care and to build supportive networks around them. But first, we need to find and engage those caring adults. Before we piloted our technology, children's services professionals had to search and organize data from dozens of websites, cutting and pasting, printing and retyping, filing and retrieving paper documents. It might take days to locate and connect with just one child's extended family, who might not even know that that child was in care. At Connect Our Kids, we solve this data problem with a technology platform that can conduct a week's worth of searching in seconds. Our software can import and organize the data results, allowing a team to work together in a secure cloud environment with transparency and accountability. Our platform can integrate technology tools other than our own as well, particularly the world-class data search tool Accurate, which Ohio's leadership now provides to all counties. Of course, technology does not work on its own. Our innovative tools are designed to give the dedicated social workers, recruiters, family specialists, and CASA workers the time they need to do what they do best, help children and families. We launched our technology platform here in Ohio because of the support we received from family, friends, and advocates, including the Ohio State Legislature. I want to thank Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Husted for their leadership in bringing this innovation to Ohio's children and families. and for making Ohio the first state to deploy the Connect Our Kids technology platform statewide. This is an effort only accomplished in partnership with strong leadership across the private and public sectors. We are now able to give social workers nationwide free access to our technology platform, shaped and designed right here in Ohio, whose leadership is raising the bar and setting the example for the rest of America to follow. Our goal is for all children to have loving families and supportive networks. It's crucial because these connections matter greatly. They can heal trauma, reduce human and taxpayer costs, and they increase economic output because connecting children to caring, supportive families puts them on the path to achieving their potential to being productive adults in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you both. Connect Our Kids is just the latest advancement for Ohio, and the best part is the technology can enhance our current programs even as we're expanding them. With the leadership of Governor DeWine, Lieutenant Governor Husted, and the support of the General Assembly, we passed another operating budget this year that is favorable to the needs of children. We're investing $24 million in the expansion of the Dave Thomas Foundation's Wendy's Wonderful Kids into every Ohio county. These funds directly support additional Wendy's Wonderful Kids recruiter positions at our county and private agencies to ensure that all available children without an identified home will have a recruiter to prepare them for and help find them a permanent forever family. That program, which currently has more than 450 recruiters, does terrific work. Since April of 2004, Wendy's Wonderful Kids has matched more than 2,000 Ohio children with families and helped more than 1,300 Ohio children find forever homes. Wendy's Wonderful Kids is a proven program because they take an evidence-based approach and combine that with their knowledge of and experience with the adoption process. Much like in Ohio's passage of the recent Foster Youth Bill of Rights, Wendy's Wonderful Kids has always given youth a voice in their search for permanency. The program's lower caseloads are also ideal for building trust, answering youth's questions, and planning for the long term. But I just don't want you to take it from me. In a moment, we'll hear from one of our Wendy's Wonderful Kids families. In addition to that investment, we're also investing $1.8 million each fiscal year, fiscal 22 and fiscal 23, to expand Ohio CASA, a network that recruits, screens, and trains volunteers to become court-appointed special advocates for children who have been abused or neglected. This is very important work because once appointed, CASA volunteers stay with the same child even as they change foster homes if necessary. When Governor DeWine was Attorney General, his office supported Ohio CASA in 36 counties. Today, we serve children in 57 counties, and we're looking to expand to 62. In 2019, the program helped a record 10,189 children. We're also investing $1.7 million to expand the 30 Days to Family program, which views foster care as a short-term option. It works diligently to collaborate with caseworkers to identify a vast array of connections, supports, and kinship placement options for children and families encountering child welfare. During the last 4 years alone, 30 Days to Family has grown to cover 27 counties and helped 1,700 children in Ohio's foster care system make more than 100,000 connections with family members. And all of these programs will benefit from our recent partnership with Connect Our Kids. The Connect Our Kids technology helps kids at all stages of the family finding process. When they first enter the system with 30 Days to Family, when they're going through the family court system with Ohio CASA, and when older kids are seeking families through Wendy's Wonderful Kids. Through our partnership with Connect Our Kids, even more children will be making positive connections with family members. Such connections can mean the world to a child who may have few or no positive relationships. I also encourage all Ohioans to do some research on what it takes to be an adoptive parent at fosterandadopt.jfs.ohio.gov. You don't have to be married or rich or under 40. You simply have to be willing to commit to opening your heart and your home to a child. From my personal experience, fostering and adoption are life-enriching and life-affirming. With these programs and the new technologies, coupled with the commitment and dedication of the people behind them, Ohio is raising the bar. Children in Cuyahoga County are already benefiting from the services of Wendy's Wonderful Kids, Ohio CASA, and 30 Days to Family. Members of the Green family of Cuyahoga County are here with us today to share their adoption story. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Carla Green, and thank you so much for having us here today to share our story with you guys. Without the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption and our Wendy's wonderful kids recruiter, Angela, none of this would have been possible, and our boys could have been anywhere. My sons were found in a hotel room with no food and no diapers for the youngest child. Their biological family had moved to Las Vegas, and they had been left in the care of a family member who was, in honesty, too young to have assumed that responsibility. When my sons were found in that hotel room, by the police, they were immediately taken and entered into foster care. Imagine how frightening that must have been. The boys were separated while in foster care. When Tay, Key Marquez, and Keandre had entered into our home as a placement, we had to teach them, we wanted to teach them everything that we could. They had no reason to believe or trust us. They had such a rough start in life. With Tay and Key Marquez, they were very skeptical, as they should have been, because many adults had failed them. Our Wendy's wonderful kids recruiter, Angela, was simply amazing. We were blown away by how well that she knew the boys. At every single step in our journey, Angela was concerned about what was best for all of us. Angela always tells us that she cannot believe how the boys have grown into such handsome and young gentlemen, and we are so proud of them for how hard they have worked and how they have allowed themselves to be loved by us. This is not an easy thing to ask of a child who has had such a rough start in life. But now they can focus on being children. I remember the first time that they realized that they had friends that they were going to be with for an entire school year. They started to believe that this could possibly be a forever home. My sons now have dreams and aspirations that they couldn't even think of before. Without the work of the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption and our Wendy's wonderful kids recruiter, Angela, my sons could be anywhere. But now we know that they are home, safe, with us forever. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for sharing your story, and thanks for being here, and congratulations. It's, you know, we talk about the tech tools and all of the great things that we're trying to do to help support the people who work on these issues every day, but those 3 boys right there and the thousands of others like them are what this is about. It's, you know, what children need is they need somebody who loves them in their lives. They just need someone who's going to be there and provide them unconditional love. You know, is there every day. And life is difficult to navigate, and it's much harder to navigate when you don't have parents, adults in your life to help you. And we're trying to fix that one child at a time to help get them access to a loving family. Now, I met these young boys a little bit earlier today. What you don't know is I was adopted too. I started out in a foster home and was blessed to be adopted And that's why Adoption Month and what we're doing is special to me. It is when you have, as a young person, hope and love and support, it changes your world. And it's a pretty amazing thing to see how resilient children are when they get into that situation where they have the support that they need. And I'm very proud of the fact that our administration was first in the country to do this. It's going to be a foundation for the rest of the country. And a lot of times I get up here and I talk about issues that affect millions of people. But this is an issue that affects thousands, certainly, but it's about one. It's about every one of those children who have a chance to have a shot at a better life, to find that forever family. And what we're doing here today is a positive step in that direction. So with that, happy to take questions. Jim.
I don't know who could answer this, but with Connect Our Kids, whenever you do reach extended family, how often does that result in an adoption?
So that's an excellent question, thank you. It varies because we finished our pilot last year and we are starting here in the first state, but it very frequently results, almost always, in additional connections. And a lot of times that is the important piece to start with. As the Wendy's recruiter, the child specialist, family specialist learns more about those connections.
And is the end result an adoption, or is it leading into another foster care situation?
So Connect Our Kids makes the technology tools to support the people who make those difficult decisions. We do not determine what should happen. We are making tools that allow Wendy's recruiters and social workers and CASA volunteers to do that work more effectively and more efficiently, because it takes away that tedious, time-consuming piece and allows them to just make, as you said so brilliantly, it allows them to focus on what's best for the children and the families, not spending a lot of time doing paperwork and searching and printing. Technology can do that. We should take that off their plate. They have to focus on people and what's best for children and families.
You said your company's providing free access across the country to this technology?
That's correct.
Okay, who pays the bill?
So we have been blessed with some wonderful advocates, the state of Ohio especially, and we have, as many tech companies do, we started with friends and family supporting us because they believed in this mission. And once our advocates in Ohio, and particularly the Ohio leadership, learned about this mission, they also became enormous advocates. We have funders across the nation, but Ohio is a focus for obvious reasons.
And I also would make an appeal for anybody who reads your articles or watches your news stories to consider becoming a foster parent or adopting. We have the children, we need the adults.
Giuliani, you had mentioned that when you aged out of the system, you spent time trying to find extended family. Do you think that if those connections had been made while you were in the system, that you would have found a family?
Certainly, and that's why I came on and believed in the mission of Connect Our Kids. I had known my mother's side of the family, but did know my paternal side of the family, and I searched, and I believe during that time, if I had found them, I would have been taken in by them.
They told you that?
Yeah.
John, can I ask you about the House Bill 6, the filings by Jones and Dowling in identifying you as potentially having discoverable information? Did you get to the bottom of that?
I have not been contacted by anyone other than the news reports, and but I'm always willing and happy to help anybody involved in the criminal justice system to find justice, whether that is a prosecution or an exoneration. Happy if there's any information out there that I can provide to do so.
How would you describe your role when HB6 was in the committee process in the House and the Senate? What role did you play in all that?
None.
Why do you think Jones and Dowling named you of all people?
Well, I think there were a lot of people. I don't have any idea.
I know I've asked you this before, but have you hired an outside attorney before?
No. I've not had any questions from anybody other than media. Well, I want to thank the Green family and congratulate you. We're looking for big things from your sons in the future, and as they provide an inspiration to others. And I want to thank the team, the whole team that is here to support children across the state. It is truly God's work. We appreciate that you do it. So thank you very much.